Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm Eric Holloway with the National Weather Service for April 8th, 2021. A couple options for you, 1-800 number and weather.gov/Alaska. Both are designed to get you the latest weather information and the latest updates to the watch warnings and advisories that may be out. And lastly, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at the email listed at the bottom of the page. For the hazardous weather, we will continue to have some wind chill advisories out for the western interior until 6 p.m. this evening, or 6 a.m. as you get up into the no attack area, Ambler, north of Kotzebue. Those are going to continue till 6 a.m. But otherwise, the rest of those wind chill advisories, western interior, are going to ending 6 p.m. this evening, and that's also for the area up there in the Seward Peninsula. But otherwise, wind chill warning out for the eastern Brooks Range, and that's going to be driving some wind chills at -70 up there. And we also have some wind chill advisories out for the Beaufort Sea coast there, and that's going to go out until noon Friday. But the wind chill advisories will go out until noon Friday across the continue for the eastern Brooks Range. And lastly, for the much of the interior, we're going to see wind chill advisories extend with a winter weather advisory out until 6 p.m. on Friday for the eastern interior and central and eastern Alaska range there. Down moving in southern mainland, we see some winter weather advisories out until 1 a.m. Friday for the Bristol Bay region with that winter weather advisory. And then we move into the coastal areas, high wind warnings out for area lining Kodiak Island and northern Alaska Peninsula into the eastern Kenai Peninsula, Seward area, and Thompson Pass, Prince William Sound region. And again, that high wind warning will continue for 10 p.m. Friday for those areas there. And then over into the Panhandle, winter storm warnings and for Yakutat zone will continue until 7 p.m. this evening. And I also continued with the winter weather advisory for the northern and central Panhandle, and those are expected to end at 4 p.m. this afternoon. So please check the listings with the webpage or the phone system to see if these have been updated or removed or extended. Looking at the satellite information, you can see the low moving into the northern Gulf there, approaching the Panhandle, snow showers across much of the Panhandle and into the northern Gulf and extending over into Prince William Sound, southeast interior. Strong northerly winds across much of the mainland with the ridge of high pressure over in the eastern Bering Strait area. We'll see that on the service map, but otherwise we see the next system pulling into the western Aleutians with the cloud shield out there. Occluded front, triple point associated with that system moving through the Aleutians into the Bering Sea. So what does this look like on the service map? Today's weather, 1,042 millibar ridge over the eastern Bering Strait region, driving strong northerly winds across much of the mainland into south central, blowing and drifting snow across the west coast there, and otherwise some snow showers that we talked about on the satellite image with moderate snow showers across the eastern Kenai into northern Gulf and over into the Panhandle. Possibly some light rain showers in the Gulf region, mixed precipitation out there. Otherwise, the big player is the 998 millibar low out there in the western Aleutian with the occluded front, rain and snow showers associated with that system. For tonight's weather, that ridge moves further east over the Seward Peninsula, 1,033 millibars now. Strong pressure gains again continue over tonight's weather. That low in the Gulf, 993 millibar low there. Continuing some snow showers across the Panhandle and into the southeast interior. Otherwise, that big low out there in the western Aleutians continues to slowly move east with snow showers through the central Bering and rain showers in the southern Bering and into the Aleutians. For Friday's weather, that low in the Gulf makes it over into British Columbia, 1,002 millibars there now, with a trough driving some lingering snow showers through the Panhandle. Otherwise, some lingering snow shower in the southeast interior, 1,038 millibar ridge over the mainland, and a 985 millibar low in the central Bering and mixed precipitation across that region. and some snow showers in the northern Bering and approaching the southwest region in Bristol Bay. For Saturday's weather, that low now in the central Bering, 97 millibar low now, with mixed precipitation across much of the Aleutians into portions of the Bristol Bay region. Otherwise, rain in the Alaska Peninsula, snow showers across southwest and Bristol Bay region and into south central by Saturday. And maybe a few lingering snow showers over the coastal mountains of the Panhandle. Otherwise, the ridge makes it into the Yukon Territory, 1,033 millibars there. So, low temperatures for Friday morning. Looks like we're going to be seeing 35 degrees at Ketchikan, 35 at Sitka, 34 in Juneau, 24 in Yakutat, 22 in Valdez, 5 in Anchorage, -8 in Talkeetna, -6 in King Salmon, 21 in Kodiak. Moving over to the North Slope, -26 at Kaktovik, -28 at Dead Horse, -14 in Ukqiavik, -17 in Point Hope, -34 in AKwx Pass, -28 in Arctic Village, and -9 in Fort Yukon, -8 in Eagle, -16 in Fairbanks, -28 in Tanana, -23 in Galena, -18 in Nome. And moving down through the southwest and Alaska Peninsula Aleutians, -12 in Bethel, -6 in Dillingham, 21 in Cold Bay, Dutch Harbor 30, 36 in Shemya, 24 in St. Paul. For high temperatures Friday afternoon, 42 in Ketchikan, 40 in Sitka, 39 in Juneau, 39 in Haines, 34 in Yakutat, 24 in Valdez, 17 in Talkeetna, 20 in Anchorage, 20 in Kenai, 30 in Kodiak, 10 in King Salmon. And back up to the North Slope interior region, -8 at Kaktovik, -7 in Barrow, -3 in Point Hope, -9 in AKwx Pass, 5 in Fort Yukon, 5 in Eagle, 5 in Fairbanks, 5 in Galena, 3 in Nome, and 12 in McGrath. For the southwest region, Alaska Peninsula and Aleutians, 11 in Bethel, 10 in Dillingham, 38 in Cold Bay, 41 in Dutch Harbor, 37 in Shemya, 37 in St. Paul. Back over to the Gulf region, Saturday morning low temperatures, 30 in Ketchikan, 33 in Sitka, 28 in Juneau, 22 in Yakutat, 15 in Valdez, 1 in Anchorage, -9 in Talkeetna, -4 in Kenai, 25 in Kodiak, 9 in King Salmon, and 16 in McGrath. Back to the North Slope and interior, -26 at Kaktovik, -15 in Ukqiavik, -20 in Point Hope, -28 in AKwx Pass, -33 there in Fort Yukon, -22 in Eagle, -30 in Fairbanks, -27 in Tanana, -28 in Galena, -5 in Nome. Now back down through the southwest, Alaska Peninsula Aleutians, 8 in Bethel, 8 in Dillingham, 34 in Cold Bay, 36 in Dutch Harbor, 35 in Shemya, 35 in St. Paul. Back over to the Gulf region for Saturday afternoon high temperatures, 39 in Ketchikan, 36 in Sitka, 32 in Juneau, 27 in Yakutat, 26 in Valdez, 21 in Talkeetna, 23 in Anchorage, 24 in Kenai, 33 in King Salmon, 40 in Kodiak. Up to the North Slope and interior for Saturday afternoon, -6 in Kaktovik, -12 in Dead Horse, -7 in Ukqiavik, 0 in Point Hope, -2 for high in AKwx Pass, 10 in Fort Yukon, 11 in Eagle, 16 in Fairbanks, 13 in Tanana, 14 in Galena, 13 in Nome, 11 in Savunga, and 20 in McGrath. And down through the southwest and Alaska Peninsula Aleutians, looking at 29 for Bethel, Aniak 24, 15 in Monik, 29 in Dillingham, Savunga 11, 40 in Chignik, 39 in Cold Bay, Dutch Harbor 41, 37 in Atka, Adak 39, 37 in Shemya, 36 in St. Paul, and then over up into much of the southwest, we're going to be seeing 11 in Sabunga and 22 in Lime Village.
And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Friday morning, some areas of ISR conditions over the eastern interior, southeast mainland, and down into the Panhandle as a low crosses the Gulf and through the Panhandle. Next system with an occluded front passing through the Bering Sea and into the eastern Aleutians. That'll be driving through over the next couple of days, but otherwise some IFR conditions out there. And that IFR conditions over the eastern interior moves into the Alaska Peninsula for Friday afternoon. Some marginal conditions continue along the eastern interior and down through the Panhandle and portions of the Arctic coast. And for Saturday morning, continued IFR conditions spread out through much of the Bering Sea and in portions of the Alaska Peninsula. Marginal conditions across the Panhandle into portions of the eastern interior and along the Arctic coast and North Slope area. And Saturday afternoon, some IFR conditions reached the southwest mainland and portions of the Alaska Peninsula and into the Gulf regions and Cook Inlet region as well. Otherwise, some marginal conditions in the Panhandle and along the North Slope. Past conditions Friday, Anaktuvuk marginal improving to VFR. Same for Adigan. VFR conditions for Merrill on Friday. Rainy went for marginal conditions improving to VFR. Windy marginal conditions hang around all day on Friday. And Isabel marginal conditions there as well. Down in Metasta, IFR conditions improving to marginal. And Tanita VFR. And even VFR conditions down there in Portage. For Chilkoot and White, marginal conditions for the passes down in the northern Panhandle. For freezing level takes a dive into the Gulf there as that cold northerly winds across much of the mainland drives that surface freezing level into the Gulf. Otherwise, surface freezing level there across the Panhandle and into the Bering Sea. Elevated freezing levels coming into the eastern Aleutians. For icing on Friday, went between 3,000 and 10,000 feet over the Panhandle with that system moving through isolated moderate areas as well as considerable moderate. Also an area over there in the Alaska Peninsula and out there in the Bering between 8,000 and 10,000 feet. For the jet stream on Friday, pretty strong winds coming through in northerly fashion through south central and into the Gulf with 135 to 130 in there. Otherwise in the Panhandle, northerly winds out there, but only 40 knots in that region. Otherwise along the northwest coast there, strong winds coming in there from the north at 85 and down through the Aleutians, anywhere between 75 and 95 winds and northerly westerly winds there. For 9,000 foot winds on Friday. Couple low pressure systems showing up there with that low in the Bering. Pretty strong winds coming across the central Aleutians there, 90 to 95 knots there, and across south central northerly winds 60 knots as you in south central Kenai Peninsula and into the northern Gulf there, 70 to 65 knots there, light and variable otherwise at 9,000 feet across the Panhandle and across the northern mainland. For 3,000 foot winds on Friday, looking at those couple low pressure systems again, one in the Bering driving some pretty strong winds from the west across the Aleutians, 70 knots out there, and into the eastern Bering, 65 to 55 knots there as you get into the YK Delta, otherwise light and variable across much of the mainland. Northerly winds in Prince William Sound, Kenai Peninsula, 55 knots there, driving northerly winds in the Gulf, otherwise light and variable around low pressure system over the Panhandle. For turbulence on Friday, starting in the Aleutians below 3,000 feet with an area of isolated severe out there as that system pushes through. Otherwise below 4,000 feet as you get into the south central Cook Inlet region with some areas of isolated severe around the Kodiak Island and lower Cook Inlet there, and below 6,000 feet there just an isolated to considerable moderate there in the northern panhandle, northeast Gulf Coast, and another area up there near the Alaska range with isolated moderate to considerable moderate areas. And again, watch for those strong northerly winds around that ridge of high pressure across much of the mainland.
We're at Vandenberg Air Force Base. We're about 20 minutes before the launch of IceSat-2. You might see the white light off in the distance. That's the Delta II rocket.
It kind of feels like an idea that was always going to just stay an idea. But no, it's real. It's sitting on top of the rocket.
You know, and for me, it's kind of surreal. Like you say, it's been 10 years, and it's hard to believe. It's like, we're really here? This is really about to happen? It's totally cool.
This is Dr. Tom Newman. Over the years, his work has taken him to some pretty remote areas to study changes in the ice regions of our planet. And his research, among many others, has defined the goals of the new NASA satellite, the Ice, Cloud, and Land Elevation Satellite 2, or ICESat-2.
And we have ignition. And
The story of IceSat-2 really begins with IceSat-1. IceSat told us all kinds of cool things about the ice sheet and about sea ice that we didn't really know to ask. That data allowed us to measure elevation change of ice sheets in a way that we hadn't been able to before, and showed that all the action on the ice sheets, the places that were really changing quickly, were around the edges. So when we were thinking about what could we do better next time, we knew that was one key component.
In addition to the edges of the ice sheets, IceSat-2 needed to measure a dimension of sea ice that remained elusive: its thickness. To figure out how thick sea ice is, you can measure the height of ice sticking out of the ocean, or freeboard, and compare it to the height of water between the sea ice flows, called leads.
The problem is, sea ice is really dynamic, and those cracks open and close various places in the ice pack throughout the day, throughout the year. And what we need to do is have measurements of the ocean whenever it's available, wherever it occurs in the sea ice pack.
To solve that problem, IceSat-2 was designed with a fast pulsing laser instrument to take precise, near continuous measurements across its 3 pairs of beams. For 10 years, everything about the mission was designed to measure rapid changes in the most rapidly changing part of the cryosphere. But it has to get into space first.
But it's a huge transition going from the ground to in space. We've spent better part of 10 years, thousands of people have been involved, and actually seeing the rocket there on the pad with all of that work kind of all put together in one place, it's pretty amazing. And then getting up in the middle of the night to go watch the actual launch, it's sort of surreal in a way, because you've put so much time into it for so long, and actually seeing it over there is like, whoa, you know, it's a big deal.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Lift off. With 1.
That was awesome. Totally cool. There it went. That was Atlas. The last Delta II heading on out. So Atlas has been turned on over the course of the first few weeks of the mission, really culminating for us with the laser. So this is our first look at sea ice data from IceSat-2, and it looks fantastic. The signal levels look great. We've got plenty of photons there. We're capturing ridges. We can clearly see the ocean. All sorts of cool stuff in there. And this is just our first data. It's only going to get better from here on out.
The data from IceSat-2 is well on its way into digging deeper into the unknown dimensions of sea ice sheets, and glaciers. It will shed light on changes in sea level and global weather patterns, and once again find new things about ice we didn't know to ask.
so my heart is definitely racing. I don't know about anyone else's. This is the stuff nerds dream of.
Slight chance the flight may see ice at 2 in their center windscreen. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6,
That's gonna
5,
happen.
4, 3, 2.
Hey Star Spotters, Trace here. Maybe you've recognized the signs. Summer, it's coming. It's the time of year when Orion starts to drift behind the sun and disappear from our night skies for another season, but it means the return of the Summer Triangle. The Summer Triangle will be visible around 3 a.m. with Vega, Altair, and Deneb. If you remember measuring the sky from last week, that'll help you find all 3 stars. The Summer Triangle should be about 1 shaka, or 2 fists wide, and 3 fists long. Each of the 3 are in a different constellation. Vega is part of Lyra the Harp. There we go. Easy to see, a little parallelogram hanging off there. Altair is the eye of Aquila the Eagle, which is pretty dim, actually hard to see, but we have graphics for that on TV. And then finally, Deneb is in the tail of Cygnus the Swan, also called the Northern Cross. Go peep this polygon and keep looking up.
And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Taking a look at the marine forecast, starting with the ice edge, you can see that ice is closed in around St. Matthew Island. We also have some polynyas developing around St. Lawrence Island, also in Norton Sound region. Also, with this northerly winds, further developments is further south is expected over the next couple days. For the marine forecast for southeast, we're looking at winds generally from a variable direction in the inside waters, 15 to 35, with seas as high as 6 feet or 7 feet there. So look for gale force winds in the northern part of the inside waters. Outside waters look like small craft advisories out for Friday, but winds generally from an easterly direction, 25, with seas as high as 19. For southeast on Saturday, inside waters variable once again, 15 to 30, with seas as high as 6 feet in northern part of the inside waters. Looks like small craft advisories continue up there. For the outside waters, winds generally from a variable direction, 15 to 20, with seas as high as 13. For south central on Friday, Prince William Sound, winds generally from the northeast or northwest, at 40, seas as high as 9 feet. For the Gulf region, winds generally from a northerly direction, 40 to 55 with 21 feet. So look for storm force winds there on Friday. And then for the Cook Inlet region, winds generally from a northern direction, 25 to 40 with seas as high as 11. So look for gale force winds there, especially in the Kamishak Bay region. For Saturday, south central winds calm down quite a bit. Variable direction across the region, 20 with seas as high as 4 feet for the Cook Inlet region. Winds generally from a easterly direction, 15 to 30 with seas as high as 9 feet. For the Alaska Peninsula, Kodiak Island region, winds around Kodiak Island generally from a northwesterly direction, 35 to 45 with seas as high as 18 feet. So look for gale force winds there on Friday. And for the south side Alaska Peninsula on Friday, winds generally from a southerly direction, 20 with seas as high as 5 feet. North side of the peninsula, winds generally from a easterly direction, 25 to 30 with seas as high as 6 feet. For Saturday, around Kodiak Island, variable direction, 20 to 30 with seas as high as 7 feet there in just north of Kodiak Island. Winds on the south side of the peninsula on Saturday from a southwesterly direction, 25 with seas as high as 8 feet. And for the north side of the peninsula, winds generally from a southerly direction, 20 to 25 with seas as high as 7 feet. For the Aleutian Chain on Friday, continued very strong winds out there. Anywhere from a southerly direction, mainly with seas as high as 33 feet there between Kiska and Shimia. So look for storm or gale force winds there. Otherwise, in the central and eastern portions of the peninsula, winds generally from a southerly direction, 25 to 30 with seas as high as 10 feet. For Saturday, winds calm down quite a bit. Winds generally from a westerly direction, 20 to 35 with seas as high as 21 feet there around Shimmy and Kiska. And moving over to the west coast on Friday, looking at winds generally from an easterly direction, 15 to 45 just south of the ice pack with seas as high as 18 feet just south of St. Matthew Island. Around the Pribs, winds generally from a southwesterly direction at 40 with seas as high as 11 feet. And for Saturday, west coast, winds continue out of the east at 30, 25 to 30, and seas as high as 16 feet just south of the ice pack. For the Arctic coast, on Friday, on the Beaufort Sea coast, winds generally from a southwesterly direction, 15 to 20, down through the Chukchi Sea coast, winds generally from the westerly direction, 10 to 15, and down through the Bering Strait, winds from a variable direction, 5 to 30. And for Saturday, Beaufort Sea coast, winds generally from a southwesterly direction, 15, down through the Chukchi Sea coast, winds generally from a variable direction, 10, and down through the Bering Strait, 25 to 35. For tonight's weather, that low pressure system near the Panhandle will be moving slowly eastward. Otherwise, some moderate snow showers through the Panhandle, southeast interior, strong winds around that big ridge of 1,033 millibars, driving a lot of the cold winds and wind chills over the mainland. Otherwise, low pressure system out in the western Bering.
These forecasts are for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating.